Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Ormark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today I thought we'd make an Easter card. We're coming up to Easter shortly, and you can make it a spring card, you can make it a birthday card or whatever, but I'm using Dainty Delight and I'm using these beautiful little images on here, and I'm going to be using some blends and just making a pretty Easter card. So we are going to be using these images here, and I'm going to do them in a really soft palette. So I've chosen Light and Dark Daffodil Delight, Light and Dark Pool Party, and then the fleshed colour, which is gives a nice sort of tonal pink, which is the light. I can't actually read the number on here, but it is the light flesh tone. Hold on, here we are. It shows how bad my eyesight is. I'm going to take a magnifying glass and I can read what it says. SU 900. So that's SU 900, and I assume that that's SU 1000. So that's the light and the dark in these flesh tone ones. But as I say, just use some pinks that you think will work. I wanted those colours because they're nice and spring-like. So we're going to be stamping these images here. So I want this one, and I want this one, which is that one here, because I like those two together. And I think then probably this little one here, and I don't know whether I'll have four. We'll see. But it's the Dainty Delight, and obviously I'm going to use the dyes as well. So I'm using Memento ink, because if we're using alcohol, we want to use a water-based ink. So the hint, a lot of people always turn around and say to me, you know, how do you know which inks to use? Well, if you're doing something which is using the blends, you want to use a water-based ink, because water and alcohol don't mix, so it means that your edges won't smudge. If you're doing I can take this fairly near to the edge, I think. If you're doing a watercolour and water-based, you need to use a pigment ink, so something like StazOn, or you can use, I tend to use, as you know, the, what is it called? It's called the VersaFine. Because again, that is a pigment ink, and it tends to, it allows you to be able to water colour over the top of it without it bleeding through. So you just need to use the right inks. So that's a beautiful little image on there. Just clean that off. And then we are going to use, I've got my camera quite low so you can see the colouring. I'm just trying to see how many I can actually get onto, because we're going to be die cutting them out, so I can hopefully get more than one on there. So let's put this one in. Will I get this one in here? I might get that one that way, mightn't I? Maybe not. Definitely get one of these ones in. So let's get this one. We can put this one down here. And then we can get, that's come out quite nice and dark, hasn't it? That hasn't come out as dark. It's probably because I didn't twizzle it as much, because it's quite a big image. I don't think it'll matter once I've coloured it in. So that's that one. Now, can we get, I don't think we'll get either of those two on there. Oh, I might just, yes, I think I'll get that one on. Trying to get as many as I can on my sheet so I'm not wasting it. Right, let's put this one down in on this corner like that. Perfect. So we've got 3 images on there, and then I just need to put that other one, which is the larger of the images, in on here. I can put that on sideways, or I could have put it onto the larger block, but as I say, you know what I'm like, I tend to put things on so that they don't come out everywhere. Let's just put this one in on here, and I'm just going to put him in like that. Perfect. Okay, so that's our images, and now we're going to do a bit of colouring. And I know that a lot of you have turned around and said that you do enjoy me showing you how to do, or me doing my colouring. I would never ever turn around and say I'm showing you how to colour, because I've always said I am no expert in any shape or form. I enjoy it. The blends make it really easy because they do most of the work for you. But it is, as I said, I am no expert. Now I want to do these little flowers in on here. They're going to be yellow. So I'm going to take the light and the dark. What's this? That's the light. That's the wrong colour. Hold on, I've got to grab my... There we go. I just picked up the wrong colour there. So this is the light and the dark, Daffodil Delight. So I tend to do the dark first. So all I'm going to do on this is I'm going to do the centre, and then I'm just doing up on the edges here, in on just on the insides. So the bottom of these, the inside bits on here, the bottom of these are sort of little buds coming through, so the bottom of those, that's a leaf, that's a little bud, that's a little bud, that's a little bud. So those are all the dark parts. While I've got the pen open, I'm going to do exactly the same with these ones. So just the centre part, down on the outside, make sure that I can get just on the outside of there. So I'm just literally, these are quite small, so I'm just doing the dark on the bottom, that in the centre, this one coming up there. So as I say, I don't tend to spend a huge amount of time doing it. It's always just sort of what I call an impression. So that's my dark, that's my light. So let's start back with this one and the light. I'm just blending them both in. So you've got your light up at the top, and you've got your dark in on the center. So as you can see, as you start to, it doesn't show so much on the little ones, but on the larger ones you can see you get this nice light at the edge and the darker in the middle. So again, just colour it round and through. And this is where the blends are just beautiful, because they do all the work for you. You just know you've got one pen which is dark, one pen which is lighter, and you just put them in together and it will come up and make just a beautiful, beautiful image. So that's those flowers on there. Make sure I've got that up round on the edge. I think that's those done. Then I want to take the pink ones. I think I'm going to have this little buds in the pink. So is this the dark or the light? I can never tell which one's which. That looks light, doesn't it? So let's assume that this one is going to be the light. and I'm going to do it the other way around just because I've turned around and said I'd do it one way and the other. So I'm literally just doing little pink buds coming out here like that. And then I think that this is probably the dark. So if it is, then I'm just going to do this at the bottom. Might have been the light actually. Should we have a little look on here? That's that one. So I think that's probably the light, and I think that's probably the dark. Yes, it is. So I've just done it with the dark, which is fine because I can always do a little bit of dark with a little bit of pink here if I want to. Okay, this is the doing this little thing, and again I don't really know what these flowers are, but I know there's a lot of you that know. But all I'm doing on this is literally just sort of dotting it across because it's not there's not a lot to actually do on there. You can just do just a little bit of colour to come through in on there, and I think that's all we need. I'm not going to use the light on there because it's so small. Now what I need to do is I need to get a pair of greens, so I'm going to take the light and the dark granny apple green because I quite like that that colour on there. I think that that will work well. So I'm going to take my dark first, and I'm just going to do the bottom of these leaves here because that gives me my dark. So just take those in on the bottom. Let's take this one. These are green as well. A little bit on there. A little bit on there. So I'm just doing the bottom of them to show a bit of green. The other part is not going to be much. These, I think I might do some little bits on there because we've got other little sort of flowery things coming through. Okay, so then I'm going to take the light and I can just take him from here. Just take that through. As I say, they're very small, so you don't need to be overly precise with it. And what I tend to do with, let's take these bits on here, so little sort of leaves. I'm going to do these as little leaves coming up. So take it from the top, and then when we get down to these sort of things, you can just bring your pen down to just give a little look. Now this is this blue flower, so I need to actually take this little bit of the blue and take that over so that we've got the same flower coming through like that, which is fine. And then I can take the green through down on here. As you can see, I'm just sort of bringing some lines through because it's quite pale, and if you do it quite gently, so like little sort of flicking motions in there rather than heavy-handed, then you'll just get the bit of colour coming through like that. So I'm literally doing, if I take it on here, I'm just literally doing it as finely as I can. again on here, I just want to give a little bit of green coming through. So I'm just taking just a little bit on there because of the buds coming. Take it round on this one, and again I can take it from the top just a little bit. Take this one down, that one goes up there, and just bring it in so we've just got a little bit of colour coming through. And then this is the last one, so I tend to start at the top because then I can work down where I'm just adding the light coming through, and then bringing that up, colouring those in, and then it just gives that sort of hint of colour coming through. Okay, so I think that's all of those now. So what we need to do is we need to cut them out now. These are really difficult images, so the dies are perfect for this. So we have a large die here. I think I've still even got some washi tape over the side of that one from the last time I used it. So this die is going to come in on, is it that one? It's that one, like that. And then we want, this one is the, it's got to be that one, I think. This one is this one. And this one is this one. Okay, so I need to just die cut those out. Now I could use the mini. I'm not going to, because I want to use the my large one. You'll only just get a bit of it in because it's quite big on the screen, but I've had this, as you can see. I need to change the plates actually, but I use mine all the time, and it's the original Big Shot that Stampin' Up did, and I'm very much, if you don't need to change something, they've got a new one out now which is fantastic, but you know, I've still got this one. I've had it for 7 years, and it is perfect. So that's what I tend to use. Well, I know my hand is huge up there. I'm not bringing the camera back up because you want to be able to see the images of this. I know this is off screen. Hold on a minute while I actually take the image off of the thing, but you can now see it's beautifully cut out. That's one. So let me bring it up that way a bit so you can see me line them up on there. Okay, so that was the first one. Second one is, that's this one, isn't it? Don't think I'll get both of them on together. I might do, but I don't want them to come sometimes, because I've got the metallic plate underneath, which is really good. It makes it, you can see really easily. It just sticks on. You don't have to use washi tape or anything like that. So, although I do need to change my plate, because as you can see, it's very, it's been used lots. But I always try and get the most out of everything, as I've turned around and said, when you buy your supplies, yes, you know, buying a die cutting machine is an investment. There's no other word for it. So you want to buy something that is good quality and that you know is going to last you a long time. Now, as I say, I've had mine for at least 7 years, probably more like 8, and it still works as well as it was the day that I got it. You know, this is one pass through, comes through straight away. As I say, I'm having to take this off carefully because I've this needs changing, but they're really easy to change. So, you know, if you invest in something, make sure you buy the best that you can afford, because you know that it will last you a very long time. One of the things about Stampin' Up products is, you know, I've got stamps and things that, yes, 8 years old, that I use. I don't use them as much with you guys because I don't need to. Now there's a little dot down in here which will show you where the two bottoms of those leaves are, and I'm just making sure that I've got it in as near as I can. I can't really get in too close because I've got the camera right up on there, so if it is out a little bit, it's only because my camera is here, so I can't actually get, I'm doing this at an angle which doesn't really make the best, but no, that's come out fine. Okay, let's just pop this one out. And as I say, the reason that it's just sticking down on here slightly is because you can see this is absolutely, it's virtually on its last legs, but it'll do a little bit longer. But you can see the reason why I bought the big shot. Okay, so everything out of screen now. Let's take these bits back in. So we've got our lovely images that we've coloured, and I'm going to use, so this is a card base. I'm going to put this piece of designer series paper that was left over from Celebration, if I can get it up off the table. So that's going to go in on there like that. Then I've got a one of the stitched rectangles. Now you could put it at an angle if you wanted to. I think I'm just going to have it straight. I've done a little Easter greeting because I wanted, and this is from an old set, because I don't do a lot of Easter cards, but I just wanted to do something to show all these lovely colours. If I can get it up off the table, I'll tell you what, my fingers are terrible for picking things up. So I'm going to put this one in like that, I think in the centre, with maybe this one off to the side like that. We can pick this one up, if I can get it up, and put it in like that. And we'll have the little pink buds maybe coming through, sort of up. Maybe coming up like that. And then I would put the Happy Easter down in here at the bottom. And I think I'm going to put some ribbon and things like that on it. So let's make it really pretty. I've got some, this is one of my favourite ribbons. So let's have a go at putting it all together and see where we go with it. So get some glue out. I've got the ribbon. I've got this. So I think that that's going to be quite pretty. Let's put this one on here. So we'll have some glue. Come on, glue. I don't want to come out of there, does it? It's probably going to come out in an absolute bubble at the end. The glue normally always comes out. Have I got another one in? Right, I'm not going to faff about with that one. Take another one out the pot. I always have a couple on the go, because then if it does decide that it's going to stick up, it's been quite chilly, so you can probably see I've got a big thick jumper on. So it's at the time of year where spring is definitely on its way, and I'm very much, I've tried to not have my heating on too much. I have my heating on in the or I have a wood burner. So I have my wood burner on in the evenings, but during the daytime, because I'm doing and busy and things like that, I don't tend to have the heating on during the day, because as I say, I think the same probably as a lot of you, it's things have gone up tremendously. So I try not to have the heating on, so I just put a big thick jumper on, and I'm fine then. And it is the daffodils are out in the garden, which is beautiful. And I've got daffodils and crocuses out at the same time, which normally they come out separately, but they're all out at the same time this year. So we've had some nice sunny weather, even though it's still a bit chilly. So I'm just going to pop that in sort of as centered as I can. And then we've got these flowers, but I want to have some of this. I'm going to put this ribbon sort of down over the top. I really like this ribbon because it's really sort of, pliable is what I was going to say. It's really easy to sort of, you know, put the bits and pieces on that you want. Now, I want some bits in on here that I'm going to have for, now I think I've just taken my... Right, I sorted my box out the other day, and I moved my dimensionals separately. So we've got large and we've got small, lots of little ones there, end bits on there, and some middling sized ones. So let me just, now I think I'm going to have some of them down and some of them up. So I think I'm going to have this one stuck down. I quite like to have a mixture. Now I've just looked through here. That's better, yeah. You can see where my colouring has come through. So I need to just, Tombow is, as I've always said, a really great glue. Once you get used to not over squeezing it, you can literally draw as you would with a pen right up to these edges really easily, and you know that it's going to stick down perfectly. So I want this in on the centre, and that, as I say, is going to be glued down. Now these ones, I want to have them up with dimensionals, because they're just going to come in over the top. I think if you put everything on with dimensionals, it all is at one level and you don't have that interest. So I want to have more of an interest with it. So, and I'm also going to be using some of these little edgy pieces because, again, you know, waste not, want not. Always use your little pieces down the side. So that can go in on the centre like that. We can have one in on the centre like that. And let's have a look. I know that I've got little pieces on here. This is quite a big one. So we'll have one on here. Like that, and we'll put that one in up there like that, I think. Then we can take some of our little minis and make sure that we've got some bits on there. Just going to have one up in on there. So you don't have to have too many all over the place. You just want enough for it to stick down. Preferably not stick to yourself. So I want the this one, the other nice yellow one first. Take these pieces out. Okay, let's bring this card back in. So I want this one to come in down on that side. So that's going to come in nicely over the top of the flowers on there. Then I wanted this one. Have I taken it off? Yes, I have. Yep. I'm going to have this one in just a little bit off on there, and then this little one I'm going to have this one, I think, just sort of stuck in coming in up like that. There we are, because with it there it looks as if it's hiding in, and I've then got this on here, but I want to have the bow coming in first. So I'm going to take this bow and I'm going to do 2 rabbit ears, put it across. Now this will be a thing to see if I can do this on camera with my, I very rarely, as you know, do bows on camera because my fingers aren't the greatest, and I always end up turning round and going, having stuff in a complete tiz-was. So, but I think this is going to be fine. Now, I want this to be quite a big, just a little bit lower. I'm wanting it to be quite a big bow because the words are going to come in through on the centre of it. So if I put that down like that and then put this, if I can pick it up, put that in on the centre, I think that is going to work nicely. Okay, in fact, I might try and do a double one. Shall we try and see if we can do a double one? So if I take this to here and that to there, so we've got twice as much. And I never cut it until I've finished, because then if I don't like what I'm doing, I can turn around and go, okay, right, I've had a go at doing this. Didn't like it, didn't work, but I haven't wasted my ribbon. So I'm doing it this way. And we then need to have 2 lots of rabbit ears. Take that through like that. Has it come through? No, try again. This is where you can fast forward if you want to, but I know that a lot of you like to like to sit and watch with a cup of coffee and go like, yep, I can relate. I do exactly the same thing. Gracious me, I'm making a right old what's it of this, aren't I? Determined to get it done. If at first you don't succeed, try again. So second rabbit ear, cross them over, pop it through, pick it up, and then we should, with a bit of luck, be able to just pull this one, and we'll pull this one. This is where the bow bit is coming, so let's make sure that I've got it nice and tight in on there. That's going to be fine. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this one down on there, that one through on there, and then I've got myself a double bow. I need to just bring one side is a bit, that's a bit bigger than the other, isn't it? Let's just pull that one down a bit. Okay, so that gives us our double bow. And then we've got the Easter. I might actually, do I want it on? Yes, I do want it sort of just over the top like that so that the bow comes out. So I'm going to put the bow down first. So putting a bow down, easiest thing to use is glue dots. Glue dots are really good for putting bows down. So let's grab this on here. It doesn't need to be perfect because, so I've got one little glue dot on there. I don't need too many because we're going to be sticking the sentiment in. So I can have that coming in, and I can just take my tails down a little bit like that and just sort of fluff this because it's a double one, I can just fluff that up a little bit on there. So we've got those, and then the Easter one is just going to go in just underneath. So I want quite a bit of dimensionals on here, so I'm going to put a couple of them on. I might even put 3 if I can get 3 on here. I probably can't get 3. We'll get 2 on like that. Then we can put this in so that it comes in and just holds down. So we can just take the tail of that little bit of bow in round on there and take the little tail of that one in. So you've got the bow round it, which I think looks quite pretty. We can bring these little tails down a bit so that they don't come completely, not too far, just a little bit. Put that one up like that. So we've now got that on there, and then just to finish off, because I wanted something, it's, you know, it's a very pretty Easter card, and we're going to have it to send it to somebody. So I think I'm going to just add a few little, oh yes, now these are new ones that I've got, which are heart pearls. I think they're ever so pretty, and they are in the annual catalogue. So have a look out for them. I think it's always nice to put something that's a little bit different on there. Now I'm going to do, this time I'm going to use the these sort of slightly opaque ones, because I think that they will look quite pretty. So whoops, take those out, and because they're hearts, I think they look just lovely. So I'm going to have one in on there. You can't see them hugely well, but whoops, you can see them enough. When you've actually got the card, you can see them fairly well. I might even put one just in on the top of there. So we've got one on the top and one on the piece there. Do I put a third one? Might just put a little tiny weeny one. There's a little tiny weeny one here. Where am I going to put him? I think maybe just in the center there, like that. So by taking the beautiful flowers, but adding some ribbon, adding a few little hearts, you've got a really pretty Easter card, or any card that you want. You don't have to have it as Easter, but I thought that it would be lovely. All the little flowers just coming through. I think it looks really pretty. So thank you so much for watching me. As always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.